a lot about like your policies about social emotional learning,
Hmm.
and I was wondering if you could sort of elaborate on that for like the viewer, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So social emotional learning, and it's super interesting because in my realm of work as an emergency medicine physician, social emotional learning has many different names. And at the end of the day, all we get back to is what does holistic health look like? So just because my leg hurts does not mean that I'm not sad. Like, why does my leg hurt? Does it hurt because I tried to jump off a bridge? Or does it hurt because like somebody hit me that was trying to go after me? We can't fix the leg and forget about how that person's emotions are being conceptualized in that process as well. Being able to see how people handle these emotions is a component of their healing. And that affects all of us as Oklahomans. Because at the end of the day, if you can't be at your best, our state suffers. And we can actually look at that in terms of kids and be able to see that if kids don't reach their full potential, I don't remember the specific name of the government organization, but they were looking at this in 2009 before COVID and seeing that 380 to 500 billion dollars is essentially not maximized and comes out of our GDP from kids not reaching their full potential. So if you don't know what you want to do in life and you continue to essentially not figure out what that is and you can't be a contributing member of society, everybody loses. And so to bring kids up and for them to see you and you guys to be shining examples and then to be like, I want to be like you, that's a win. But that also helps mental health. So when you see your best self, that's social and emotional learning. When you can handle hard problems, that's social and emotional learning. In the emergency department, I see the failure of that. I see what it looks like when you can't do that, when you haven't mastered that aspect of life, when you don't have the support networks around you. And it's really sad because I don't have the capacity to be able to fix that. I can only put a Band-Aid on it. And then hopefully people kind of find those resources as they go out and about. So there's things in our system that we can fix with your help and being on the school board and being able to figure out how do we be proactive and preventative about some of these problems instead of waiting until they come into the ER.
That's a
Yeah,
great point.
that was a really great point. I know that social emotional learning has been one of the topics of interest in different campaigns right now. So talking about campaigns, what sets you apart from your opponents?
It's funny because I met my opponent for the first time today, and one of the things that we share in common is a concerned parent. And that to me, I feel like is really what you need to be a school board member. You need to be, because if you're not concerned, then the price of milk for 16,000 kids will not bother you. Like you won't even bat an eyelash at it. You won't realize the complexity that it takes to feed these kids, and it might be their only meal of the day. If we get it wrong, like we affect thousands of lives. So it's not just something that we can just blow off. You have to be in it. In that same sense, for me, I live in chaos. I live in disasters. I mean, it's literally what I'm trained in as an emergency medicine doctor. So one of the things that I think is really important, and this is kind of what speaks to the levels of the campaign, is preparation. Like, why would we wait for cases to go up before we do something on the ground and with families to make sure that they're safe from this pandemic? There's a lot of things that we can see in terms of our district, in terms of communication, that if we can actively work together and improve, we don't necessarily have to wait till a catastrophe happens. We can be ahead of the game and we can continue business as usual, thinking about how do we get more of that 1%, that 2%, getting to, once again, our mission to be 100% career and college ready. So the biggest thing that I think that kind of sets me apart is that's where I live. I live in the situations where we can best utilize that value. And that's why I was appointed to be on the board, to be able to provide that as well.